Hello and welcome to the Quinn Creek Road Bridges virtual open house. We have some folks still coming into the meeting, so we'll give it just 30 seconds or so here and let them join us, and then we'll begin the presentation. All right. So again, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us this evening. MDT and our project team is going to talk about the Quinn Creek Road Bridges construction project this evening. And following the presentation portion, we'll have a live question and answer session where we'll answer your questions. In order to participate in that Q&A, if you find the Q&A button located at the bottom of your screen, click on that. It should give you a text box that will allow you to type in questions. And feel free to ask those questions throughout the presentation. We'll hold them all to the end and then we'll answer them at the end there. So these online sessions are being recorded, and we're going to have a copy of the recording posted on the project website. So feel free to invite your friends and neighbors that couldn't attend any of the sessions to view the presentation following on the project website, and we'll have that address on the final slide here at the end as well. So at this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Gino Leva to do introductions of the project team. Gino?
Thanks, Brandon. Hi, my name is Gino Leva, and I am the Butte District Construction Engineer for the Montana Department of Transportation. I would like to take this time to welcome you and thank you for attending the open house for the Quinn Creek Road Bridges project. I'd like to take this time to introduce you to our construction team that will be working on this project. I'll start with Dave Cunningham.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Cunningham, and I'm the Butte District Construction Operations Engineer for the Montana Department of Transportation.
Paul Cogley.
Good evening. My name is Paul Cogley, and I'll be the engineering project manager for MDT on this project.
Zach Zupan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zach Zupan. I'll be the project manager for Sletton Construction and manage the construction side of this project.
Brandon Coates.
Hello again, I'm Brandon Coates with RBCI. We're doing the public outreach and communication efforts on this project, so I'll be your main point of contact throughout construction to get your questions and concerns answered.
And Kate Wallace.
Hi, I'm Kate Wallace with RBCI and just helping out tonight with the live Q&A.
Thanks, everybody. I'd now like to turn it over to Paul Cogley.
Hello again. So I'd like to begin by thanking everybody, and what I'd like to do is kind of run down the main points about the project. I assume that most people online here are neighbors on the Quinn Creek Road. You probably know or have seen that these two bridges on Quinn Creek for I-90 are starting to deteriorate, especially over the bridge piers. These two bridges were built in 1979, and it's come to a point where maintenance is no longer a viable option for these bridges, so they're going to be replaced. As you know, it's kind of a tough location up here on Bozeman Pass. Also, the steep grade of this location job site is going to make it difficult as well. We want to kind of let you know what you can expect both during construction and once construction's over. During construction, there will be single lane traffic underneath these bridges on Quinn Creek Road. There are going to be some short delays, 15 to possibly 30 minutes for certain phases of the project. Also, I'd like to point out that the mailboxes on Quinn Creek Road, they're going to be moving shortly just across the road so that they're not in the way of the construction and demolition of that bridge. Once we're done, what you'll notice primarily is it'll be a little more open look. These two bridges are currently 3-span bridges. The new bridges that we'll be installing are single span bridges with steel bridge beams rather than the concrete beams that are there now. So that'll kind of open that up. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference that you'll see between the new bridges and the old bridges. Slide. For this project, we've determined that we want to do an accelerated bridge construction kind of approach to this. The reasons why are not because of imminent danger on the bridges. The bridges are safe at this point. We want to try and get both bridges demolished and new bridges complete or substantially complete in one season rather than 2 seasons. And what this really means by the accelerated bridge construction, the method that we're going to use is a slide-in-place bridge. So at some point during construction, it's going to look like there's 3 bridges on this project. One of those bridges will be built in the median, and that'll be on temporary shoring. Once the substructure, so the bottom of the bridge, foundation of the bridge for the eastbound lanes is complete, we'll slide that bridge deck over onto the new bridge foundation, and that's going to help us accelerate how fast we can get it reopened. I think at this point, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Zach Zupan with Slutton, and he can let you know a little more what to expect with traffic control and construction on the job.
Hi, good evening, everybody. As Paul said, this is Zach Zupan, again, the project manager for Slutton Construction. I'll manage the construction operations. We're planning to crossover traffic, and we'll start building the crossovers on May 9th, weather permitting, and that should take us about 3 weeks to construct those crossovers. Once they're constructed, we'll cross over traffic from the eastbound lane, or excuse me, from the westbound into the eastbound lanes and have head-to-head traffic on the eastbound lanes while we build the westbound structure in place, and the eastbound structure will be built off alignment to the south of the interstate. Once we complete construction of the westbound structure, we'll switch traffic over and push head-to-head traffic in the westbound lanes while we demo the eastbound structure and slide the new eastbound superstructure into place. What you can expect on I-90 here while we're doing construction is single lane traffic. So while we're building the detours, we'll push the traffic into the driving lane and close the passing lane at the crossover sites, which are one's located east of the existing structures and one's located west of those structures. Speed limits will be reduced. We ask that all the traveling public, along with our workers, obey the posted speed limits just to keep everybody safe, both the workers and the traffic there. Once the crossovers are constructed, the entire westbound interstate will be closed for a portion of the interstate right around the bridges there, and it'll be head-to-head traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until we complete the westbound structure. And then, as I said before, we'll just flip that and it'll be head-to-head traffic in the westbound lanes, single lane traffic in each direction until we finish the eastbound structure. Once that's complete, we'll close the crossovers and reestablish 2-lane traffic in both the east and westbound, on both the east and westbound interstate, and traffic will flow as normal. Slide. What you can expect on Quinn Creek Road. So we understand that this is the only access to the north side of the interstate at this location. And we're doing everything we can to accommodate the businesses and residents that live on the north side. We don't anticipate closing Quinn Creek Road at any time at this stage. Bear with us if plans change, because as many of you know, plans often change in construction, but right now we only anticipate short-term closures, and that being less than 30 minutes. We'll always be able to accommodate emergency services, even in those short duration closures. And for most of the time, we anticipate having Quinn Creek Road open to 2-lane traffic, but again, there will be traffic control set up at times where we're having to allow single-lane traffic only through the site or through the work area. And that's about all I have for the construction side and the traffic control. I'll turn it back over to Brandon.
Thanks, Zach. So I'd like to remind you at this time too, if you have any questions, to go ahead and you can start entering those questions in that Q&A box, and we'll answer those questions at the completion of this presentation. So keeping everybody informed during construction is a high priority for MDT, and that's where RBCI comes in. We'll be providing email and text updates during construction, especially if there's major traffic changes or construction activities that you're going to be seeing out there that could have any kind of impact on your travel. So we will also be sending out postcards. We have news releases. We'll work with the news media, social media. I know that the Quinn Creek area up there has a pretty active Facebook page that will try to make sure we get information on there too about anything that's happening. But our email updates and text updates are a good way to stay informed. And the information there is there on the screen right now, but you can also find that information on the project website, and that address will be on the following slide. The email update, text Quinn to 42828 is not currently working. We have some technical difficulties with the service that provides that email, and they've assured us they're going to get it figured out before construction begins. So that should be active here soon. The signing up for text updates does work, so you can do that. The other way to sign up for email updates would be just to email myself, and my email address will be on the final slide here, and it's also on the project website. So with that, we're going to conclude the presentation portion of the open house, and we're going to begin the Q&A. Again, the project website address is on this page along with my contact information. I'm Brandon Coates, Public Involvement Manager with RBCI, and my email is brandon@rbci.net. So I think looking at the Q&As, do we have any questions that have come in so far? Does not look like we have any questions yet, so we'll just hang out here for a few minutes and let you go ahead and start entering in those questions, and we'll get them answered as soon as they come through. So.
Brandon, we do have a question from Caitlin. She said, do you happen to know if BNSF will continue to run trains as normal? And if so, how will it affect the partial road closure of Quinn Creek? Zach, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So that's a good question. We communicate, we being the project team, so both MDT and Sutton Construction communicate with MRL at the early stages of the project, and we don't see any need for any impacts to the railroad. The traffic control plan will accommodate the railroad at this location, and probably what'll happen is traffic coming up the hill will have to yield to traffic coming down the hill, and that will allow there never to be a queue of traffic on the railroad side of the lane closure. So we shouldn't see any changes in railroad traffic, which I know is a lot there. So appreciate that question.
Thanks, Zach. We'll just wait a few more minutes to see if anyone else has any other questions. We have another question from Jamie. She asked, who is going to move the mailboxes and where will they be? Zach, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. We'll move, I think it's the first 10 mailboxes. And when I say first 10, the 10 closest to the bridge is what we're planning to move at this point. And they'll just move to the other side of Quinn Creek Road, basically straight across from the remaining mailboxes. And we've coordinated this with the postmaster, and it seems like they won't have any issues with mail delivery for that move. And everybody that isn't on this presentation, it'll be easy to see. They'll be right there, basically the same location, just across the Quinn Creek Road.
Thanks, Zach. We have another question from Susan. What time will you start in the morning and what time will you end in the evening, Zach?
Yep, another good question. Right now our schedule is to start at 7 a.m. in the morning, and we'll be cleaning up at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and that'll be Monday through Friday. And we do have a schedule to maintain, so that schedule may change depending on how we're doing on our planned schedule. Whether it's we need to extend hours or we can work less hours, we will. But right now that's our plan.
Great, thank you. We'll wait just a couple more minutes. We don't have any other questions, so. Brandon, we have a question for you from Laura. Who do we contact during the project if we have a concern, and what is your position on the project?
A good question, Laura. I am the public involvement manager, and I am the first point of contact if you have a concern or any questions. My email is Brandon, BRANDON @rbci.net. And then phone number for us is 406-333-7215. And if you want to contact me first with the question, that makes it so I can contact Paul or Zach or whoever it might be with MDT that can answer that question, so you don't have to try to run down several people. We'll get that answered and back to you. So
Great, thanks, Brandon. Again, we'll just wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else has any other questions. We do have one more question from Susan. Is there any safety concern traveling under the bridge or waiting under the bridge? Paul, do you want to answer that?
Sure. I'm trying to anticipate kind of what you're getting at with the question. So the existing bridges, as are safe. During construction, if there is any time when there's a hazard, when we're demolishing bridge deck above the Quinn Creek Road, or if we're swinging bridge beams up there above, We'll have flaggers and we'll have workers there to guide cars through. We certainly wouldn't want you to stop underneath when that activity is happening, but we will stop people on either side and then, go ahead and flag them through once it is safe to go through. So those are some of those 15 to 30-minute delays that Zach alluded to earlier.
Perfect. Thanks, Paul. So we'll just wait a couple more minutes and see if there's other questions.
One other thing I'd like to make sure I point out is on the project website, we will have this presentation slides loaded up under the public involvement and meetings tab. And the presentation, the recording, which includes the slides and the audio, will also be located there. And the presentation from today's meeting at noon will also be located there too. So if you wanted to watch the previous presentation. All right, any other questions that anybody has? If you don't get your question answered here, if you think of it later, again, email me your question and we'll get it answered and get back to you as soon as we can with that. So all right, I think we're probably going to end a little early here. Appreciate everybody for coming out this evening, and we hope to keep you informed throughout the construction of the project. Thanks for participating. Have a good evening.